Okay. Good morning. It's Saturday morning, so we're just chilling. I'm watching TV. The baby's like crawling, playing around. It's the end of the month, so it's kind of a busy week. I do have an appointment today at 2 o'clock, so I am probably gonna get up, put my hair up, and head out for that appointment later on today. So I had two things happen this week that I wanted to share. The video that I'm about to upload, it's gonna be like a two-part video. It kind of ties in to what I'm going to warn you about, and then I'll kind of show you the appointment just to see how it goes. So Tuesday, I had an appointment for a elderly couple who wanted to sell their home to an investor. The the title company just gave me their their address, phone number, and said, hey, they're available anytime today. I called, nobody answered. So I went to another appointment instead for somebody who did answer. And I called the lady again when I was done with that appointment and left a voicemail and just said, hey, I'm done with all my appointments today. I was asked to reach out to you by the title company. I'm on my way now. And so when I get to the lady's house, she was very upset that I did not call her to let her know that I was on my way. And I let her know, like, no, ma'am, I called, nobody answered. And she's very defensive about it. The first thing out of her mouth was, no, you didn't. I've been sitting at my phone all day. It never rang. And I had to correct her and let her know that I called. Not once, but twice. Nobody answered. And then the second time I called, I left a voicemail. And so when I gave her the number, she goes, oh, that's my husband's number, not my phone number. Apparently, the husband had just gotten out of the hospital, so maybe his phone was dead or they couldn't find the phone. I'm not sure, but he didn't answer the phone. He wasn't worried about it. I just let her know that was the only phone number I had. I apologized. Did you want to go ahead and move forward with the appointment? She was still a little, defensive and said, hey, we're about to sit down and eat dinner. And, I get that. I did apologize and said, that's my fault. I should have called before I came, or we should have communicated before I came, but I was just instructed that you were available anytime today. And when I reached out earlier, nobody answered. So, of course, I just kind of moved on to somebody who did answer and just kind of put you to the back. But I'm here. I was instructed to sign you anytime today, that you were available anytime today. I know you're eating dinner. I'm more than happy to come back after you eat your dinner. She proceeded to say that she was pretty upset. She didn't want to do this right now because they were about to sit down and eat dinner, and their supper was going to be cold. I'm sorry, he's going to try to grab my phone from me. And so their supper was about to be cold. So I said, okay, well, if you're that upset and you don't want to do this today, because your supper is about to be cold, I can come back, let you eat and come back. And she just said, no, you don't have to do that. Just, you can sit down and eat with us. And I said, no, thank you, but I don't eat pork. And, oddly, she asked me, are you Jewish? And it wasn't how she asked it. It wasn't what she asked. It's just kind of how she asked it. And I kind of chuckled because, I don't look Jewish. And she said, oh, no. We don't have a problem with Jewish people. We're just, I was just asking, we're Christians. I was just asking, are you Christian? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I do happen to follow a Christian faith. And, she kind of calmed down for a slight moment. And so she kind of went on again, got quiet. The husband's looking for his identification in the back. And so she proceeds to say, he can't find his ID. Can we just, do this tomorrow? And I said, I think your fun's today, but let me call the title company. Let her know that you don't want to sign today. You're requesting to do it tomorrow. And she immediately got upset. She said, I didn't say I wanted to do this tomorrow. I just, I didn't say, I'm sorry. She said, I didn't say I didn't want to sign documents. Well, ma'am, you just asked, can you do it tomorrow? But that's not saying I don't want to sign. I'm just asking, can we do it tomorrow? And, I repeated, I said, yes, I said, just let me follow up on that. But if they ask why you don't want to do it today, I have to say, because you requested to do it tomorrow, so you don't want to sign documents right now. You rather just put it off till tomorrow. Um, Either or, long story short, she finally calmed down and said, okay, fine, let's just do it today. She pulls out an ID. The ID expired in 2017. Ma'am, I apologize, but I can't notarize documents with an expired ID. Do you have anything? I'm not sure if it was working, but even some type of membership card that had your picture ID on it, a birth certificate, just something. I can't do an expired ID. And she was very adamant to tell me yes, I could. Um, I've been in the business world 40 years. I know you can do this with an expired ID, and you're going to. So at that point, I just kind of paused and, waited for the husband to come back. And the husband could not find his ID. Apparently, he was in the hospital the day before and did not know where he placed the ID. And so at this point, I'm calling the escrow officer that's responsible for the file. And I'm just kind of letting her know, like, the situation. They don't have IDs. Neither one of them have IDs. And she's, being a little aggressive about getting the document signed. She kind of explained what I explained to the lady on speakerphone. And I let her know that, we can probably figure something out. But as of tonight, we're not signing it. I'm not notarizing your documents. They were understandably upset, and I get it. But I left. This was Tuesday night or Tuesday evening. So Wednesday afternoon, I get a phone call. And the guy says that he's from the Montgomery County Sheriff Department. And I'm like, okay. And he says the reason he's calling me because they have an open investigation on a transaction that I notarized. I'm like, okay. He gives me the people's information. I look it up. I saw that, yes, I was the person that notarized their documents. I checked my emails to see, the IDs or whatever. He asked me if I can meet him somewhere and pick the people out of a lineup, or, however you pick up criminal, look for criminals. And my immediate response was, oh no, I can't meet you anywhere. Like, this is a random phone call. I don't know who you are. I honestly thought I was being scammed. Like, I thought this was like one of those text messages where, you call people or people text you and say, hey, you have a warrant for your arrest. Send your, call this number, have your bank account details ready, and you can just take care of it over the phone and get rid. Like, I thought it was a scam or something. Just, you never know with people these days. You watch the news, there's some crazy people out there. And so I just kind of declined his offer to meet him. I just let him know if he wanted me to pick anybody up out of a lineup, he would have to meet me at the title company. That was the only place I would agree to meet him at. I'm not going anywhere extra. I'm going to the title company. I'm probably going to show up in an Uber because, again, I don't know you. So it was just really it just sounded sketchy. And so, I immediately contacted, or no, I didn't even contact the title company. The title company called me within like 10 minutes. And because I was still kind of like figuring out what was going on, I called my mom, and I called another investor that I work for, and just kind of told them, like, hey, was this your property? And they were like, no, this was not our property. I was like, okay, good, you're good. And so, when I was hanging up with the title, or when I was hanging up with that investor, the title company called me, or the escrow officer that, called me from the title company, and I told her what happened. She's like, yeah, that's what I was calling you about. And, apparently she says she got the same phone call and that she sent it over to her compliance department, so they are currently investigating it. And just kind of sit tight. They'll give me instructions on what to do. And I told her, I said, I don't mind, meeting his request. I'm just not going to meet with somebody, that I don't know off of a random phone call. in person, unless, it's a, public place, a, place of business, and somewhere where I feel comfortable doing so. But I have no problem like meeting his requests. And so she says that that he has to subpoena their documents. And so she's turned everything over to their legal department, their compliance department, and they're working on it. But the guy said that he had a copy of their documents already. So that kind of threw me for a loop if she said that he has to subpoena. So he doesn't have a copy of the whole documents. He probably just had like a copy of a deed that was recorded at the county, is what I'm thinking. That's the only way that's just the only way that's the only thing that he could probably have. But either way it goes, the ID that I submitted for both signers in that party were current state of Texas IDs. But one of them did look a little off, and it wasn't something that nobody noticed until the guy called and they had to kind of look and go into stuff themselves. I think one of the IDs did not have like a seal that was like raised or something. And you couldn't tell because it was like in a plastic sleeve. Like people have like their lanyards for work. It was like in one of those lanyards for work, which I thought was kind of strange. Like, why is it in this lanyard? But I could see everything. Everything was fully exposed. But the thing that the 3D raised part is something you can't really see unless you scan it in a camera or something. So it was just a really weird situation. This is the first time this has ever happened to me since 2016, since I've been doing these real estate transactions. And I'm curious of the outcome. From what I'm told, it's possible that the tenants, or the complaint that the sheriff department gave the title company, is that the tenants were living in the property, and they were pretending to be the owner of the property and sold it without the owner's knowledge, is what they're saying. But I don't want to give out too many details. I don't want to blow their case because it is an active investigation. But it is something that happens, and I just never thought that I would be in the middle of something like that happens. I hear about people faking deeds or faking signatures on deeds all the time. I've heard stories. Because people do sketchy things over money and property. I've just heard the stories. I just never thought I would be in the middle of it. So I am very curious to see how this is going to play out. Um, I, I'm, I'm just so shocked that this even happened. And ironically enough, it happened. I got the phone call from the sheriff the next day after I left the older couple's house. So you always have to do the right thing. You can never cut corners. You can never just kind of have sympathy on people. I could have been sympathetic to those people because they were older. Oh, they're older. Of course, they're not going to do anything wrong. I don't know that. Like, I don't know these people. I don't know who they are. I don't know that. And wow, I'm just kind of wow. So always do the right thing, even if it's kind of a hard decision, even if people are aggressive with you and they're getting angry and they're, demanding that you do something. You cover your ass. You do what you have to do to protect yourself. And that's what I explained to the older couple. Like, ma'am, I can't notarize your documents. You're expired. Your ID is expired like 4 years ago. It's 2017. We're in 2022. So I can get in trouble. I get a lot of trouble for that. Not 4 years, that's 5 years. But that's gonna come back and bite me in my behind. And on top of that, your husband has no picture ID. Like, there's nothing, no passport, no anything. So yeah, it was just a very, very, very you just gotta be careful. That's all I'm gonna say. But I did record the appointment with the older couple, and we were able to come up with a solution. The solution was that we had to find a witness that knew the couple and that was willing to vouch for the couple, saying like, hey, they are who they say they are. And I did not notarize the couple's signature. I notarized the witness signature. So the witness, it put himself in the middle of that to say, hey, I know these two people that are signing, I'm going to vouch for them. So that is a unique situation. I've heard it done before, And luckily I just recalled that, I've heard about this. I've seen it done before. Let me give that to the title company, and just they can discuss it with the older couple. They can find their witness, and once they find their witness, we'll come back. And that's what we did, and it worked. And luckily, when I came back, the guy that was their witness was an attorney, a real estate attorney at that. So it just happened to luck out that way. So uh, watch the appointment. The lady, again, she was a lot calmer the second day that I went. The first day she was on level 10. The second day she was probably like on level 6. She was very mild. I mean, she had her moment here or there, but it was just nothing compared to that first day. That first day, I think she was just mad that she wanted to sign those documents to get, whatever money they were going to get from the sale of the property, and I refused. So yeah, just check it out. And again, these are investor properties. This happens quite a bit, and I'll share that with you. Thanks. Bye bye.